Welcome to your doom.
Oh, buddy. Okay.
No, that was good on my end.
Okay.
It looked
All right.
good, I think.
Good. All right.
I don't know. I was waiting for you to start moving and then do the clap.
Anyway, we gave each other the clap. It was fine. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Uttal the Tool Man Katru.
Is that really what you're going to start calling yourself?
You all know my assistant.
Assistant, you bastard.
Justin the Thorax Thumper Carcassoli. How's it going, Justin?
It was going well. Now I'm your assistant. I feel like I've got a downgrade in my status here.
I mean, I think you were always my assistant. You just didn't know it. I just decided to tell you today.
I guess so. Considering man. I do all the assistant work on this podcast.
That's true, man.
God damn it. I'm doing all the editing. I'm doing all the fucking video.
You got a serious case of Al Borland syndrome. You should just wear some flannel every time we do this show.
We're doing this, so we're doing a podcast this time, but it's slightly different because we're doing this remote. We've got an epidemic of freezing rain here in Toronto, so we didn't end up going into either Studio de Carcassole or Studio de Katru. So we're doing it through Skype and recording the audio, so hopefully this all sounds, and if you go to our YouTube, looks good. Assuming we actually put it up for YouTube, because the file sizes were fucking bananas when we were looking at this. So it's either going to be a little bit of us. We'll probably intermix some clips of us playing the game. But spoiler alert, we're going to be doing this episode on Earth Defense Force 4?
4.1, The Shadow of New Despair. I love that title. It just keeps going on way too long. It's rambunctious and hilarious and cheesy, just like this game.
Yeah, man.
Was there any news topics that you wanted to talk about first, or
did you have something? I feel like we talked about something. Oh, I remember what I wanted to mention. I've been playing. Because I've done a little bit of traveling, I haven't been able to get on my PlayStation. Plus, to be honest, EDF's been taking up a bunch of my time.
Yeah,
I've been playing as the Ranger. Right. We'll talk about that. Yep. But I booted back up Injustice 2 because fuck that video. Did you see the gameplay reveal for the Turtles?
Yeah, dude, I did. It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Dude, that's a lot of work that they did, man. I mean, it's really like you've got the base moveset, but there's a lot of things that are very different between the characters. Yeah. Different intros, different outros, different voice acting, special moves. Each one has their own unique character power. Like, there's a lot of work that they put into that. That's not a small amount of work.
Honestly, NetherRealm, I mean, I keep saying this, and I probably said it before on this podcast, but NetherRealm is like a premier game studio. It's one of the few studios today that are producing $80 games. Like, truly worth $80. Like, there are a lot of companies that are releasing games that don't do that, and we don't have to get into that today. But Battlefront, NetherRealm and CD Projekt Red, which is the European developer that makes the Witcher games. I feel like those two developers are just monumental. You know, like they are AAA developers developing great $80 games out of the box, no fucking about, you know, no microtrans. Well, I mean, no pay to win kind of thing. Everything you can earn in game if you spend, you know, the average amount of time a person spends playing the game. Like you don't have to spend 1,300 hours to unlock a character, you know, that kind of thing. So in general, I just expect excellence from NetherRealm at this point. If they're doing a character reveal, I'm always into it. So
it was funny. I was talking to my brother about the Turtles reveal because I showed him and he loved it. But the one thing I said was like, this is my favorite fighting game of all time, which I said about Mortal Kombat X.
Right.
Which in turn I said about Injustice. So it's like every new NetherRealm game is my new favorite fighting game that I've played. Like, And I've only recently got into the fighting games. I think it was really the first Injustice that got me into it. I played a little MK9 with you, but I didn't have the game and didn't play it enough to be able to really appreciate it. And
I enjoyed that period because that's when I was kicking your ass. Ever since then, it's gone downhill. I mean, I think Injustice 2 is one of the best 2D fighters ever made.
Yeah.
Like, period. I realize that I'm not very good at these games anymore. I don't know what happened between MK9 and Injustice 1, but something happened. I slept weird one night, and that part of my brain just, like, withered and died. And now I feel like a child when I'm playing those games. It's like, but it's that doesn't mean it's a bad game. It just means I'm bad at it. They're great games. They're great to watch. I can watch other people play that game. It's great. So yeah, the Turtles reveal was amazing. Like they dig deep into those characters, right? Like in all the history. They did it for MKX. They did it for, Jason. Jason Voorhees is like, I don't know, like it was just, they capture the essence of the character, whether it's a movie or a comic or whatever it happens to be. They capture the essence, and they always do the work.
Yeah.
They do a lot of work, a lot of fan service, a lot of a moveset that reflects the character. You feel like you're playing as that character, not just like a carbon copy moveset from another character. It's just a glorified skin. Totally different mechanics, especially for the Ninja Turtles, right? 4 characters in one.
Agreed. And you mentioned microtransactions, so they have the DLC and stuff, but they pack so much into, like, I haven't even bought any of the DLC yet because, frankly, the first fighter pack and the second fighter pack, I mean, the only one that really called me was Hellboy. Like, that was dope. Right. When I saw Hellboy, I was like, I lost my shit. Who was the other guest in fighter pack 1? There was Sub-Zero.
Raiden? No, Raiden
he was in the second. The first one was Sub-Zero.
Adam? No.
Red Hood. Red Hood was the other one that people were...
I wasn't really interested in the Red Hood.
I didn't really care. But the community was really big on the Red Hood. They were really big on Dr. Fate, Swamp Thing. There was a lot of characters, and NetherRealm clearly listens. Like, Ed Boon is really... Like, he's very, very... in tune with what's going on in social media and who's asking for what, and I love it. They definitely take notes from their fans. But I mean, I think that the Turtles were the biggest surprise. I remember we watched it at somebody's birthday. We were at Game Room in Toronto, and we were watching it live because both of us hadn't seen it. We were watching it on my phone. And then when that Psy hits the ground, we both went, fuck. Because we figured it was Melina, right? And then as soon as it was Raph, he throws off the thing. It was like, yo, NetherRealm killed it.
No, it was pretty great. Yeah. We should do a review of that game. I mean, we both played that game a lot.
Yeah, that should be up at some point, and we can just take video of me giving you the business. I'm telling you, man, my Robin's kind of nasty. I don't know why. I got into Robin because of Staff of Grace, and it took me forever to finally get that gear. And when I did, oof.
Man, I have no gear in that game. I just finished the single player, and then I lost it. But I'm like, we should jump into a review for that game. Speaking of reviews,
isn't that what we're doing one for?
That's what that's what we're supposed to be doing here. So, did you have any more news? The only other thing I wanted to mention was that I haven't seen it yet, but the Venom teasy trailer, the teasy, teaser trailer, teaser trailer's out.
You haven't seen it?
No.
You could literally watch any trailer and it would be the same thing. There's nothing in there that's unique. It's like just Tom Hardy talking about his demons, and you don't see Venom or anything.
Well, that's like a tormented Tom Hardy. That's pretty standard, I think.
Yeah, it really is.
I just watched a show called Taboo, and that's pretty much 12 episodes of a tormented Tom Hardy. So I think I might be able to safely skip the teaser trailer.
You don't need to see it. There's honestly nothing in there of value. It's a lot of stock, like, not stock, but like it's all the same old standard trailer shit you'd see in any other trailer. Nothing unique.
Right. So. Fair. Shape of Water got a ton of Oscar nominations, which is pretty great. Finally, Guillermo del Toro's getting... Well, it just reminded me because you mentioned Hellboy earlier, but he's getting some recognition up there. I'm pretty stoked. I don't typically watch the Oscars, but I will wait for someone to tell me if he won eagerly. How about that?
I'll definitely be watching. I like watching the Oscars. I don't think I like it because it's fun to watch, and I like seeing who wins and who's there. jokes, who's hosting. I like that kind of byplay because I just enjoy Hollywood in general. But in terms of like, oh, this is the best picture, fucking whatever, that's fine. I don't necessarily agree with all that stuff, right? But it's more the spectacle of it all that I find fun. And my wife fucking loves that shit, so I can't get away from it if I tried.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I remember I used to watch it a long time ago, and then I don't know, I stopped. I am interested. I'm kind of curious to see who won, but I just kind of like wait and read about it after it happened. I just feel like it's too long. The show is just really long. And,
I'm usually doing something, like I have my laptop or I'm doing something. I can't just sit down and watch it like from end to end, but I'll tune in for the whole thing just as long as I have something to keep me distracted.
Right. Right. Fair enough. All right. Well, I think that's it. I think we should just jump into it. What do you think?
EDF!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Earth Defense Force 4.1, The Shadow of New Despair, a game in which not only is unwanted pneumatic fisting allowed, it is encouraged.
That is the best weapon in the game. I stand by it. Without a doubt. Because, dude, it's got so much distance on it, too.
Yeah,
you can actually be, like, really far away and just, like, even guys in the sky, you just...
Fisting from a distance.
Fisting for fun.
So Earth Defense Force, I just want to talk a little bit about where this even came from, because...
I don't even know. Yeah, you brought it up, and then...
Yeah,
I don't know
a couple of years ago, it would have been 6 years ago. No, maybe not that long. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I was just like EB Games. I think I might have been in New York City, and I was just like, oh, there's like a used game in here. It's like $6, and it's called Earth Defense Force. And I looked up a video of the game, and I'm like, oh, this looks like fun. So I bought it for the 360. And then I played with my brother split screen for a little bit. I'm like, wow, this game is actually kind of ridiculous amounts of fun. And then I was always like, this game is more fun to play with other people. And then I just stopped playing. Because the 360, I ended up getting a PS3. Like, you know, all of my cousins, you guys, we all got PS3s, and like 360 sort of just kind of languished. Like I didn't really use it. Then The Shadow of New Despair 4.1, like this game, I just saw it go on sale, and it was like, what, maybe 6 months ago? I don't know when we bought this game, but it was on sale on the PSN store for like $12? I don't know. It was cheap.
It wasn't, like, it wasn't expensive.
Because like the game itself is like $30 still, $30 or $40, but it was like $12 to $15, something. It was a significant sale. I was like, whoa, I remember this game being fun. So I bought it. I'm like, I may have convinced you just to buy it on faith. I'm like, you should just buy this fucking game. Just buy it. I know you're going to like it. So we both bought it. I was playing it, and I was kind of loving it. You, on the other hand, were playing it, and you didn't like it. I recall this.
Yes,
that's right. Like, initially, you were just, like, not having it. You're like, this game is just wacky. And I'm like, I was just eating it up. And then you got into it a little later, more recently, in the last few months, right?
Yeah,
and then we started playing. Co-op together, and that's when things really, like, the game really does shine when it comes to co-op. I think so. That's kind of the history of the game, and how, you know, we came to play it. A little word on what I mean. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, you definitely initially disliked it.
Yeah, my initial dislike of it, because I think I started playing as like the Ranger or the Wing Diver or something. It was a very slow grind to get decent weapons, and it was just not, I don't know, it was challenging to get started. But then that's when we figured out, like, if you play on the harder difficulty, even the first level, which in itself is not easy. Like, it's a pretty challenging level.
Yeah, I mean, when you turn up the difficulty, certainly.
Yeah, if you go from, like, normal to hard and you don't have decent enough weapons, you're in trouble.
Right.
But the thing is, if you pass that first level, the guns you get just off that first level are enough to carry you almost a good half to 3/4 of the way just through medium alone.
Right, yeah, medium, yeah. That's right,
So once I figured that out, I managed to, I don't know, gain a little bit more perspective, because then it wasn't just such a grind. Because, like, there's a challenge and then there's a grind. Like, challenge is
Yeah.
fun. You're beating levels here and there. You might have to redo a couple, but like the grind is like you got to redo this level like 1,000 times, and it's like I don't got time for that shit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, in general, I think what we should probably do is just go through some of the mechanics of the game. So Earth Defense Force is basically like, I feel like it's a video game version of, like, the best video game representation of, like, Starship Troopers, like the movie. I think it's probably the closest thing we'll ever get to a Starship Troopers video game. I think between that and Helldivers, I think Helldivers is a good Starship Troopers adaptation as well, because it's got all of that political satire thrown in there. But this game, purely on a visceral level, it is essentially Starship Troopers. The thing that really, actually, some of one of the mechanics, it's a third-person action game. It's level-based. I think in single-player levels, there's like 90 single-player levels, and every level is just it's a large playing field, like a very large cityscape or underground layer. And you play in that sandbox, and like the level sort of it depends. And there's like a variety of enemy types, and like as the levels progress, you get different combinations of enemy types, and different things happen through the levels. Different boss characters appear sometimes, and there are 4 different classes to choose from. Each class, I swear, each class has like hundreds of weapons,
Probably,
right? And that's the other thing that this game does. There's 2 things this game did that I really I can't find anywhere else. It puts you in, every level is this sandbox, and it throws hundreds and hundreds of enemies at you all at once, and it gives you spectacle like I've never seen. Like I've never seen in a video game. Or you may have seen that spectacle in a video game, but it's always been a cutscene, or an unplayable portion. This one, you can look off in the distance at these hills and slowly see gigantic red ants coming toward you, like it's like this wave, this cloud, and they're running towards you, and you're shooting them from a distance, but they're just too many, and when they hit you, it's like this. It's just nuts. It just gets crazy. And
if you get swarmed, all you see are thoraxes and little antennas and shit. You don't see anything. The whole screen's blacked out.
And then God forbid you use an explosive weapon when that happens, because then you just blow yourself up. It's just, it's that kind of scale. It's like I said, the Starship Troopers level scale, where they get, like in that film, when they get, whenever you see the arachnids, they get swarmed and there are thousands of them. This game does that, and it does it in such a convincing, tongue-in-cheek, fun way. It does it in such a... Let's put it... the game doesn't look the best. It's not the best looking game. But they sacrifice game and frame rate, let's be honest,
yes,
for that scale. And for the multiple enemy types. Because you get, ants that are maybe 6 or 7 times the size of you, but then you get giant alien ships in the sky. You get giant walking mechs, spider mechs, ships, alien ships flying down. The scale is big, it's small, it's versatile, it can do everything, and you can go anywhere you want. You can destroy buildings, you can climb on them. So it's like GTA.
Yeah.
Right? Except, I think way more fun. I think it's way more fun.
Yeah. I got a lot of feelings on the GTA games, and not terrible. Some are hit or miss. Some are really good, and some were just kind of the exact same thing with the exact same mechanics. It's like, meh. But this was something unique. I mean, you mentioned the 4 different classes, and it's really like it's fun to just like, you can beat the game. So we beat the game. You did the wing diver. I did the fencer. Now I'm going through it again as a ranger, because it's honestly, it's a completely different game. Your strategies, your mechanics, your loadouts, your weapons, everything's very different. So you can literally get like 4 unique different types of experiences out of playing this game in one go. And then on top of that, you can tack on tons of, there's 5 different difficulty modes? And things get bananas when you get higher. Like, it's funny, like, you think you're the shit in medium, you're like, I got this. You turn it on hard, there's this one level where all it is you're just basically in these tunnels, and there's
Yeah.
spiders and ants.
I
And
remember that.
you can't. There's nowhere to go. It's just tunnels. You're the only person in there, and they all circle around. So you can't even run away, because if you run away, things are coming at you from the direction you're running away from. So it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah, it is bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, bananas is the right word for it. It's some kind of weird controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they struck this balance, but they did. Some things I think are still unbalanced, and we'll get into that. But they managed to, because they give you so much freedom, right? And they managed to tweak it such that everyone can play and the game is still accessible. Like, I think they've hit the nail on the head on all of these things. And some things have to take a back seat to that. Like I said, graphically, the game doesn't look the best. It's not the looker of a game. But that's so that they can throw hundreds of enemies at you at the same time on the screen. From far away, everything looks great. You start getting up close, and those thoraxes start to look a little muddy, right? Like, and and the draw distances are like the entire stage. You can see, there's one mission where you're put on a beach with a bunch of other like NPC characters, and they have tanks and stuff, and you all roll up to the beach, and it's kind of like Normandy, except the folks storming the beach are the alien walkers, and they're coming in from really far away. You can call in airstrikes, you can call in mechs, you can call in a little motorbike, like you can do whatever the hell you want. Every level is like a mini GTA. That's kind of like how I would explain it. And it's just so much fun. You mentioned the four classes, hundreds of weapons each. You get weapons as you collect them in each level. 5 difficulty levels, 90 missions. Like, the fun factor, and like I could play this game for like till the end of time at this point. Like, there's just so much content. I'm going through as a ranger as well now. And the style is totally different. Experimenting with these new weapons. Now, some of the weapons are just kind of joke weapons, right? Like, if you don't read the actual description of the weapon, like, you don't realize that you could only use it once. Like, I've made that mistake more than once, where I'm just like, oh yeah, this weapon's awesome, and I'm just like murking these aliens, and then suddenly I need to reload, and it's just not reloading.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And then I go in and read the description at the end. It's like, hey, you can't reload this weapon.
Got one shot, make it good. I did the same thing on like a ship. I got this rocket launcher. I'm like, look at the damage, and then I shoot it. I'm like, oh, these guys are doomed, and I'm like, click. Oh shit, I got nothing.
Yeah, that was our own damn faults. But
yeah, I had it coming.
But yeah, so the mechanics of the game are pretty simple. You can play single player, you can play co-op, you can do split screen co-op on a single machine. You can up to 4 players online in a single mission. And it scales. So if you play on hard on your own, solo, single player, that's different from playing hard with 2 or 3 or 4 other people. So I like that. I like the fact that I don't have to have 3 other people to play with in order to play this game online. You and I can play it online, and it's scaling to our group size.
Right. Yeah.
And so when you play the game, you play a level, you beat the level, you could pick up armor, weapons, and health. Those are the pickups, and all the armor you pick up goes towards your total health, and all of the weapons you pick up are, you can get new weapons. You have a chance of getting new weapons. Sometimes you get the same weapons, but then sometimes you get new ones. And then that's pretty much it. 90 levels. Really simple game. Like, not much to it.
Yep.
So
survive. It's really just survive, eradicate all the little red dots on your map, and that's how you get through the level.
Yeah, there's no complicated objectives. It's literally, you get dropped into a level, kill everything.
Yeah. I was going to say the complications arise when the situation, because the situations typically vary, well, maybe not typically, but they'll vary from level to level, so you really got to pick your strategy. Like, do I want to grab a bunch of people to support me on this? Because there are the NPC players, you can actually commandeer them, and then they'll follow you around, attack things you're attacking.
That's right.
Fall back if you're falling back typically. Unless they're really engaged in battle, they won't.
Right.
But you've got, like, there are times where you doing that, and then there are other times, like, for instance, I wanted to use a group of people, but I couldn't because they already had a commander, like the NPC characters.
Oh.
And they would just go in and get eradicated, right? I'm like,
killed,
this doesn't work. I ended up killing the commander first second I get, and then I get to control everybody else.
Oh, is that so? Because
The guys with the red hats, they're the ones that command the other ones. If you kill them, everybody just goes into like, hey, I need to be controlled by somebody.
Oh, that's what it is. Because in those earlier levels, when you have squads like that, I'm always like trying to get control of that squad.
Yeah.
And I can't. And I thought that the level is just like, it'll give you control later. I didn't realize that there was a commander, and if you kill the commander, you can get control right away. That's crazy.
Yep. It was in one of the underground levels. I tried that and it worked. So I was like, this I might use. I've only used it in a few levels, but like, got to do what you got to do, man.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, the like in terms of looks, let's talk about looks and audio, and then we'll get into the gameplay stuff. But in terms of looks, like I said, it's not a looker. When you get close to stuff, that's not really. It's definitely sacrificing that detail. But man, the scale in this game is monumental. Like, I know I've said it like 5 times before, but there are moments in this game where I'm just like, what? This is like, I've never seen anything like this in a game. Like a giant spaceship warps into the sky above you, opens up, and literally just starts shitting out thousands of spiders. I was like, what the hell is this? This is crazy. And then I'm like, oh, the ship is so far away, and it's like, I feel like, it drops it and leaves. Like, I thought it's just like a cutscene, not a cutscene. Sorry, an event in the level that's scripted. Mm-hmm. A scripted event. But then the ship doesn't leave, and then it keeps dropping spiders. I'm like, do I have to kill this? I have to kill this thing? And I go and I shoot it, and it actually takes damage. I'm like, holy crap! You kill it, then 4 more warp in, and I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. What?
Yeah,
it's just like when you think like the game is slowly escalates as you go through the 90 levels and slowly introduces you to new enemy types in a really epic sort of way. Like, look, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about the game. It has no story, but these reveals of these enemies are just epic. Like, for example, when you discover there are dragons, like, you just spent the whole game fighting ants, red ants, spiders, hornets, or like wasps, giant mechs, and then suddenly dragons show up, and you're just like,
of course, why not?
Obviously, like, I don't know why I didn't see that coming. Like, yeah, and this again, it's the scale that's just, it's great. It's just something I've never seen in any game, and I still haven't seen it. Like, since this game was released, this game owns this game type. Like, I feel like there's no other game that could possibly do it.
Yeah, agreed.
Because it discards all the other stuff that modern gamers have come to expect. A lot of that minutia and mechanics, it just says, fuck all this stuff. We're going to make you an arcade shooter that rewards you for progression, and that gives you a scale that you've never seen, So, buildings. Let's talk about buildings. All the buildings you can destroy.
Is there more to talk about?
Well, I mean, I just had these. I mean, I
know
had these moments where I'm like, just like standing on a building, like as the wing diver, I can fly up to any. It's some of them are towers, dude. Like, they're towers that shoot up over all of the other buildings. I'm able to go to the top of that tower while you're fighting all the way on the ground.
Have you ever tried to see how far up the wing diver could go? Like, what was the scale of that? Because I don't think I ever saw. Like, there was one level where you're so high up, I was even just like, whoa. Like, you're at the level where the big ships that are dropping things are.
Yeah.
You might have been higher than that. I can't remember.
I've done crazy shit where the wing diver has a jetpack. I don't think we really established that. So the 4 classes are the ranger, which is like your sort of common, like, tough soldier, bazookas, machine guns, that kind of thing. Then the next one is the wing diver, who has a jetpack and can fly around and has like an energy bar. And that energy bar can feed her jetpack or it can feed your gun. So management of that bar becomes a whole mini game in and of itself. Like, the mechanics there are like pretty deep. Then you have the air raider, who is, I think, probably the hardest class to use because it's strictly a support class. Calls in mechs, calls in airstrikes, the works, vehicles, everything. And then you have the fencer, who you used.
My favorite. So the fencer has, you can arm them with two sets of loadouts, and they're dual armed. So you have you can have something that's a melee weapon in one hand, and you can have something that's a shield in the other, or a blaster, and some of these weapons are things that like even the air raider would call in. Like some of the damage that these things can do are massive, but they're very slow. Some of the little additions per weapon, like you can actually augment them. Like a weapon also comes with a dash that they can dash forward a little bit, but it's still there's a cooldown and whatnot. Or there's this big jump. But being able to pair weapons together and be able to optimize like what the best loadout is for whatever situation is really important when you're the fencer. Probably with any of them. I mean, you really got to be selective, especially like what enemies am I going against? What is the level? What's the layout of the level? Is it buildings? Are we underground, etc.? And then you've got to pick your weapons very selectively based on that. I mean, like I said, it all goes down to strategy. If you're going to be down in the catacombs, explosives ain't going to do you because you're going to blow yourself up. But if you're in the wide open space, sniper rifles, long range weapons, stuff like that, heat-seeking things, like there's rockets that you can that you can attach. And then with the fencer character and the air raider, you can actually, I think it's the air raider, it might be the wing diver, but you can actually pair, like get this crazy strong weapon from the fencer, but you can't use it unless someone's there to mark the target.
Yeah, the air raider can mark the air raider marks the target. That's cool. So we haven't even tried that. I'd actually like to try that because I do have all these weapons with the air raider which are targeting lasers.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do that in solo play? So that's kind of like a balance issue with the air raider. I actually think the balance issues in this game come strictly from the air raider in single player. Like I feel like some of these missions on some difficulties that are just like very very hard to do, or some of the weapons are just. The weapons are just completely useless unless you have other players in the game. But yeah, so the fencer, you can see how these gameplay strategies are wildly different between classes. So you have these 4 classes. So I was talking about the wing diver, and you were talking about height. So with the jetpack, I can jump up onto buildings and stuff. There was one where there was a massive tower, and that tower I could get to the top of, and that's the highest I've ever been. Because when a single burst from the jetpack could never get you that high, but because I could jump from building to building to girders on the tower that's not quite built to like up there, you can get up there. And the ships were like, oh, we're on the level. Like I could see the side of the ship. The other crazy thing I've done is the wing diver has this close range weapon called a rapier, which is like a gun that just looks like a sparkler. Right, just like really short range, just think of like Jubilee from the '90s X-Men show. Like that's basically kind of what it was. But in order to use it on a ship, I have to get close enough to shoot the ship, and the ship has this hatch that opens at the bottom. So I fly right up like Randy Quaid from Independence Day, right up the ship's like bunghole, and I just like let this thing loose, and I'm shooting in there, but the ship doors close behind me. Oh. That's where the ants are falling out of. So, but like the ship's doors, I'm in there flying around shooting it right in the the red spot, where you're supposed to kill it, and the ship's doors close, and I'm literally stuck inside. I'm inside the ship. I'm just like standing there shooting it, and then finally I kill it. The whole thing explodes, and I come tumbling out of the sky with the ship like on my head. It's just nuts. Like what you can do in this game. If you think you can do it, you can probably do it. Like that's kind of what I'm getting at. You can the things you can do in this game are like it gives you so much freedom. So so in terms of looks, the enemy designs, the types, they're all really great. I think. They've got the normal gray ants that can shoot. They have the red ants that are just really really strong, like and powerful, fast. Then you have the spiders, the jumping spiders that shoot the webbing. And then you have the one enemy that scares me the most is I think they call it the Rotarius, but it's like the
ones that grab you from a distance and pull you in. Yeah, I don't like them either. They kind of creep me out.
They're just like massive, and they kind of resemble like a spider that you would be terrified of, like with yellow coloring, black and yellow coloring, but they're massive, and their thing is they don't attack you as much as they just sit on their webs from really far away and shoot webbing out. And if this webbing hits you, they just start pulling you in. And they do it really creepy. They're just like, they're
slow.
Like pulling you in. It's slow. And sometimes you can't do anything about it and you just panic. Right? Yeah. It's like, oh my God. And then you get into the web, and then basically the webbing kills you, or they attack you when you're in the web. And then you've got the whole sleuth of like robots. Like they have like what do they call them again? I forgot now.
I can't. I never remember the names. I just think of what I have names for them in my head. Like I've got the Iron Giants, the Day After. What is it? Day After Tomorrow? No. Day of the Earth. No. What was
Day
the
the
one?
Earth Stood Still.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's
War of the
one.
Worlds.
War of the Worlds. That's the one.
Yeah.
The War of the World ones with the spider ones or the bigger spider ones.
Yeah.
What other robot ones are there?
There's the ships, so
The
then
ships.
like the ships, the flying ships, and there's multiple classes of those ships. Then you have the massive ships that drop those, and then you have like there's it's just the list goes on.
That
and
big
they're
walker, the big four-legged walker.
Oh,
thing.
the four-legged
That thing's a
walker.
beast.
Yeah,
it's got
dude.
guns all over it and shit. It's dropping things out. You can't walk. You got to be very careful walking under it because every step, if you're too close to the foot, will launch you.
And you just ragdoll physics your way right across the entire level for miles. You just go flying.
Yeah, it's no joke, man.
Yeah, it's and then they have like the big scale like boss type characters like the Godzilla-esque one. They have the giant dragon.
Yeah,
right. That looks like Megatron from Beast Wars. It's just. Yeah, so like the enemy types are great. All the designs are great. They look great. They sound great. They're really creepy. I was talking about the audio for a second. The audio for the guns kind of like doesn't. I don't think it quite cuts it for me. I think they could have gone a little more crazy with like the firearm audio. I feel like, if I'm using like the Ranger and I'm using like an assault rifle, like it sounds like a pea shooter. I do think like the effects for the Wing Diver, for example, are really good. Like because it's all like laser lightning sounds and stuff like that, so that's a little bit better. But I thought the Ranger stuff was kind of weak. But yeah, no, like the audio, you have like chatter coming from all of your soldier buddies, and they just have the most ridiculous, out of place dialogue.
Yeah,
we're talking about like what are you having for dinner tonight? And they're like running. It's like,
but the responses they'll have is like, "What's for dinner tonight? Justice," or something ridiculous. There was one. I was actually playing this morning as the Ranger, and it was one of the underground levels. And one of the characters goes, "I can't even see my hand in front of my own face." He's like, "In my town, they would." Oh no, he goes, "It doesn't bother me. In my town, we turn off the lights at night." Fuck. Cool, man. I don't know what the other guy would respond to that with. I'm like, all right.
Love that. I absolutely love that. Like, it never gets old when I actually like commandeer control of these guys just to hear what they're gonna say because it's so ridiculous. I don't know if they planned that or if that was part of the translation, like a direct translation error. But man, some of this dialogue is hilarious. It's really, really funny. The enemy sounds like it's all like it just some levels are just constant explosions. Like you'll just be sitting there and then the buildings just start collapsing around you. There's air raids getting called. It just becomes a noise after a while. And I feel like that's probably what a war sounds like after a little bit, Like
I'd imagine.
It's just noise.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. It really is.
Because the noises are triggered from something happening in the game. So if you've got a bunch of buildings blowing up. In fact, sometimes so many things are happening. Like there's this one level with all of the Iron Giants that are coming in at you, right? And then they'll drop a couple of air raids. The frame rate goes a little funky at that point, and just the sound gets a little choppy because there's just so much data or things happening to process that the system kind of just goes, let's
throttle this back a little bit. Yeah.
But, I mean, the sound for something like that is exactly what you would think. You're just hearing things fucking fly off into the distance. You're hearing crazy explosions. It's crazy. But
yeah, it's just nuts. And what was I going to say? Yeah, so I was reading online that a lot of people are convinced that the frame rate issues this game has are like, they're like, the big joke is that the frame rate is a feature of the game. It's like a built-in feature.
Really?
It just means like, the developers know that the frame rate's an issue, but fuck you guys. There's like 1,000 enemies on the screen.
Yeah.
So,
and it's
frame rate's going to be a problem.
It's usually not that bad. Like
no, it's not. Like, it's just in moments.
Yeah,
it has its moments.
Yeah.
When a chain series of destructive events happens all at once, then you start getting frame rate issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. what was I gonna say? So like the frame rate issues we talked about. The weapons are pretty gnarly. Like they're all like pretty wild. So anything else from sort of a video, sort of audio perspective, other than the fact that like that theme song is like stuck in my brain from the menu system, just like
No. I mean, we pretty much covered it. I mean,
yeah,
it's a good game in terms of being able to throw as much shit at you in a good way as possible.
right,
But
right,
like you said, the sacrifices. There are some sacrifices, but it's it's gameplay versus really high quality look. That's really all it is. And
yeah,
some people are good with that, some aren't. I mean, this game isn't for everybody. I think that some people are going to see it and be like, this isn't very polished, this doesn't look good, the CG's not that great. And it isn't, but let's see you be able to do what they're doing with high quality everything. You're not.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not feasible. Not with the PlayStation 4. You need to go up a bunch of systems. So I think it's great.
I mean, they made a design decision. It's clear they made a design decision early in the game.
Yeah.
They're like, quality of graphics will take a hit because we want to deliver scale.
Right.
And we want to deliver freedom. Freedom and scale, right? Where you can fight small enemies, you can fight massive enemies, and the gameplay mechanics all work. And that requires sacrifice, essentially.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and I think I'm totally on board. I'm like, yeah, make that sacrifice because I haven't seen this type of scale in any other game, and I want this game to continue delivering that. So,
True.
So then let's jump into gameplay. Man, is this like purely like fun factor? This game is just fun.
Yeah.
It's unadulterated fun. Like you cannot like I haven't had more fun playing like strict like candy. This game is like candy. Like I eat it and it's just like I feel like it's not good for me, but it's fucking delicious.
It's addictive. Like, it is super addictive because there'll be times where like I can't pass a level. I'm like, I got a little closer that time. Let me try again. And it's the never ending cycle of like I'm so much closer. And then it's like fuck. I've been playing the same level for like an hour. I've been trying.
I know,
dude.
That happened to us, right? I mean, like we were playing that tunnel level you were describing.
I was so angry. I just beat that the other day, or with the Ranger on hard.
With the Ranger,
I think on hard.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on hard, and dude, it took me like 1,000 tries. It was tough. But
it's a fight. It's so funny because when I beat those levels that I've been trying, like so as the wing diver playing on the last few levels, I tried to beat the whole thing on hard, but there are like 4 or 5 levels that I had to throw in the towel. I'm like, I've tried this level like 15 times and I haven't been able to. I've gotten close, but I haven't been able to close it. And I just, for the purposes of this review, I wanted to have finished the game at least with one of the classes, so I had to skip them on normal. Yeah. Honestly, it's eating away at my brain. The fact that these 4 or 5 levels that are not completed on hard, I'm like, oh my god, I need to go back and finish them. It's just that completion, like, and that kind of completionist attitude I've never had I haven't had for a lot of games. There are only a couple of games where I'm like, oh, I want to beat it on normal, and then I'm going to beat it again on hard, and then I'm going to play it on hardest, and then I'm going to play it on Inferno. I haven't had that feeling for a game. Typically, I beat the game and it's done. I'm through. Like the last game, I feel like I remember like you guys were playing Alien Nation. You guys wanted to clear that on hard. Yeah, Alien Nation, and then before that Gauntlet, like the Slayer edition, we wanted to beat on hard, and we all beat. Like those are games that I was like, yeah, I want to beat this on like every difficulty. I want to milk this game for what it's worth. That doesn't happen all the time, and this game has got it. Like it's got it. Like I want to go through and play again.
Yeah, got me hooked.
Replayability is high. It's high.
Yeah, just with the amount of variation you said too, the number of difficulties times the number of classes times the number of levels.
Right.
Fuck, it's like 1,800.
Yeah, it's like it's a stupid number.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's crazy. It's really, really high. What are your favorite? So you played the Wing Diver, you played the Air Raider. Have you done? You've done a bit of Ranger as well too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
what are your favorite loadouts?
So here's a weird thing. The cycle I go through, and I don't know if you go through this as well. When I play a new level, I'm trying to skip the normal and just go to hard. So I jump into a level on hard. Let's say I'm playing as a Wing Diver, and I'll die.
Yeah.
Like the first time, I'll always die. And then the second time, I change my loadout slightly because I know what enemies I'm going to be facing. I try it, maybe I'll die again because I reach another part of the level that introduces a new type of enemy. So then I try to like balance all of that out. But for the wing diver, I've just got this. I can't remember the weapon names, but maybe we could show a little video of this. But she's got a laser gun that shoots 3 lasers like this. They don't bounce off walls or anything. And she's got some crazy, like, she's like a disco ball. Like whenever like some of these weapons where she's just like, it's like a club. It's like she's so she's got these like tri-laser thing, and then the other one is the I like the rapier weapon, which is like the close range like firecracker weapon. I like those two. For long range, there is a Thunder sniper rifle that I use sometimes, but I only use that when I know that range is going to be an issue. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, and then for the soldier, I always have a bazooka. Like I feel like that's probably one of the most versatile weapons in the game. Just like the rocket launcher,
Stingray.
Stingray. That's right. Yeah. And I just started using like shotguns, a lot of like shotguns, and they're like pretty good. Like and I started experimenting with grenades as well, which is pretty wild. I've killed myself with grenades more often than I care to admit, but just like learning how to use them.
The Ranger for me, there was a sniper rifle. Sniper rifles can be good if they're automatic. I find like quick automatic, not the ones that's like shot, wait, shot, like with a higher fire rate. But for most of the part, I'm switching between a shotgun. The Governor, I think it's called, is my favorite one. High-powered rifles, so ones that have like a low clip count, fairly high fire rate, but they're just beasts. Like they're dealing like 300 damage maybe. I don't know how much they are, but they're really high in relation. And it's a really quick reload speed too, which is something you got to be very conscious of when you're the Ranger. I find is the reload speeds. Well, I guess with everybody. And then in terms of explosives, he's got a couple of good lock-on ones.
The lock-on stuff is key, like especially for like distance lock-on stuff. Like when you're facing off against the walking robots from really far away, you don't want to get close, but you need to deal like a stupid amount of damage. Like I use the lock-on stuff, and then the lock-on stuff for the swarming ships. Because like sometimes they come in and like some of them move really fast and it's hard to hit. So you just like the lock-on stuff just helps you take out more of those ships.
Yeah. And with the walkers too, because some of them have those really high fire rates, and then they have those red ones that just make big explosions.
Yeah.
Using one of the lock-on ones, you can be running and diving and doing all this stuff, and then lock on while you're doing that, and then just make sure that you get the shot off. Because if you roll while you're firing rockets, you're going to be in trouble. But if you get that off, then you can just keep on running away, and then you're reloading that whole time. Like you don't have to be stationary to reload, which is key. So you can, you know, drop your payload, and whilst reloading, that thing's just getting hit. So I found that the lock-ons with those are really important. In terms of the fencer, because they have 2 loadouts with 2 arms or 2 weapons per arm. The key one that I found, and this makes the Fencer the best character in the game, maybe not for me, the best character in the game, most damaging, is there's the Nomadic Fist, which is literally just a big fist that just extends and just punches things. It's super strong, but it puts a dash on the character, right? Now, like I said before...
So the Pneumatic Fist, that's the actual name of the weapon.
No, it's something like, I can't remember the name of the weapon.
Hammer. Is it a hammer? It's not a hammer.
No, it's not a hammer.
It's a pneumatic something. Is that
no, pneumatic's not in the name, man. You put that.
Oh, is it
you
not?
just started calling it a pneumatic fist. I'm like, cool, man. Good. Oh, because I think it's called the Jack. It might be Jackhammer.
Jackhammer.
Which is just so fitting. I mean,
because there's actually we'll try and show some footage of this, but I think there's actually a fist on the end of it. Is there?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like there's a giant fist, and when you use it, it's just, oh man! Like you'll see the video, but like I just couldn't believe that there was a weapon in this game that was literally like a violent fisting. So when we were playing together, I was trying to stay back as the wing diver because she's got the lowest amount of health, right? But she could fly around. She's super nimble. I just see like when you're getting swarmed, clouds of blood just start poofing from this swarm of ants, and then I see you just slowly backing up out of the corpses, and the corpses are just going flying, and you've got this fist going boom, 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 boom. It's just like you're just fisting everything in sight, and you're fisting corpses.
Fisting corpses.
It's just that's what this game's all about.
Step on
fisting.
up. I'm taking all comers. So
just fisting corpses is awful. It's just awful, but it's just so much fun.
And the best part, like when I'm watching it, it doesn't look like much. Like it just looks like things are just exploding in front of me. But the best is watching it from like somebody else's perspective because the fist goes so far. It looks ridiculous.
And the sound it makes, it sounds like a train.
Yeah, it's just,
right?
It's just nuts.
I just like it's so ingrained in my brain. Like this fisting thing. It's just that's how you got the name Thorax Thumper.
That's a good one. So back to what I was saying. So you've got this fist, but anything that has a dash, like they're basically any of the melee weapons that they have, right?
Yeah.
I've tried the swords and I've tried the hammers. Didn't like any of them, but that thing was the bee's knees.
Yeah.
It was really good. So, but pairing that
really
dash
funny.
with something that has a big recoil of a weapon too, you can actually get it where you're constantly dashing and firing and dashing and firing. And then the fucking fencer, who is typically, it's a very slow walk speed is nothing. But this dash paired with something that recoils to essentially reset, to offset the cooldown time of the dash, you're in business. You can move. So you'll see that. And then in the other loadout, it'd be I'd always like having a Gatling gun because it's just something that's good for crowd control. Like if you're like a medium distance and things are coming up on you, that's when you just let that go. But as soon as they get close, that's when you switch over to the fist / high artillery thing, and then you can move around, you can fist, and you can use the high caliber guns.
I typically it's a good balance, man. Yeah. The fencer can carry so much. Since it's 2 loadouts and can prepare for multiple enemy types.
Yeah. And honestly, like, in terms of loadouts, 3 out of my 4 weapons at all time were always picked. And it was those 3 that I just mentioned. Gatling gun in one, and then on the other one was the fist and the high caliber. It was like an artillery shell, but it didn't explode. It was beast. It was such a beast of a weapon.
Did you ever find, like, you landed on that loadout, but I think part of the fun mechanic of this game, personally for me, was just trying weapons, because there's like 100 of them for every character, and you have no idea what they do. You read the description, I mean, it is what it is. You never know what it is until you choose it. And I feel like a huge percentage of the time that I spent in this game was just like, oh, what does this do? I'm not a grenade guy, but I'm going to try using this grenade in this game. You know, like experimenting with the weapons to find what you like. And I found like that was a really fun process.
Absolutely.
Especially with the Air Raider, because like you get all kinds of vehicles. Now the Air Raider, we haven't really talked about him, but the Air Raider can call down like airstrikes, and one of them, because it's like a guided missile, it's this giant missile that comes from the sky, and you can actually control it in real time as it's flying down from a satellite, and does like massive amounts of damage. But you could also call down mechs. And like an APC that can heal people, you can jump, like everyone can jump in and they get healed inside the APC. You can also call down what's called the Mobile Fortress Balam, which is like, it's like one of the mechs from Pacific Rim. And that's the other thing about this game, is that there's a level where you have a boxing match with Godzilla.
Yeah. It's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, except at like the size of a building. Like that's the scale.
And yeah, sorry to come back to the scale thing, but that's another thing that just blew my mind. I'm like, what the hell? And the Balam comes in like with, you know, very Pacific Rim style, with the helicopters holding onto it. It drops it. You get in. You can get out. You can shoot the monster like Godzilla. You can jump into the Balam. You can punch him in the face. That scale change, right? I haven't seen any of that in any other game. No. And then there's another level that happens after. So after the 1-on-1 Rock'em Sock'em match, there's another level where there's like 6 of these Godzilla creatures and like 6 Balams and like a scorched earth like style setting where you're just watching you're basically watching a fight from Pacific Rim.
Yeah,
that's what you're doing, and you're just trying to keep then like a bunch of ants and insects come, and you're just trying to keep them, and wasps, and you're trying to keep them off of the fortress, like the mechs. But I'm like, I just like look around and I'm like jaw dropped at how big the scale is, you know. And then you jump into your own robot and you assist and you fight. It's just like, it's crazy. But you could call that mech down. as a air raider. One of my favorite vehicles as the air raider is the self-propelled rocket, like I don't know what it's called, vehicle, but where it's like, think of like a surface-to-air missile kind of like mobile tank thing with a missile cabinet on top. It can lock onto 30 targets. It's just ridiculous. It locks onto 30 targets and shoots 30 missiles that break apart in the air and then like attack their targets. So when we were playing together, I was trying to build up my air raider, get more weapons and get more armor. Like I played with the air raider. I called this thing down. I sat on the top of a hill. It was like a valley. Sat on the top of the hill. You're in there. I could see you like running around, dashing around, shooting these ants, and it's swarms of ants. And on hard, these guys, like, there's strategy involved. Like, you can't just go in and like attack everyone and get everyone's attention. You'll be swarmed. But then you're in there shooting the ants, and I'm like targeting everything, 30 targets, and like I saw on your screen what it looked like, and it was just like
fucking bananas.
Just shit, just like blowing up. Yeah, it's just man. Like you're about to attack an ant, and it gets blown up by one of the missiles, like that kind of thing. It's just like the moments that this game can deliver in co-op, I think, are unparalleled. Like they're not matched by any other game. Yeah, I mean, like in terms of gameplay, what else is there? Like
it's just the freedom. That's the thing that really that's the thing that it speaks to, is the amount of freedom you have in the game to really just do what you got to do to pass the level.
You can do anything. Like you can take any strategy. I always thought there were weapons that I'm like, this is a completely useless weapon. Why would I ever use this? Mm-hmm. And then I randomly, after I was failing with my loadout I'm comfortable with, I just started using other weapons, and suddenly I find another weapon that I'm like, oh, this is actually a decent weapon, whether it's a grenade or whatever it is, something I wouldn't typically use. It's just it rewards experimentation.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you get burned. I wish we had footage from the game where I called down that stupid motorcycle.
Oh my god, that thing was useless. It had
was
no
so
weapons.
bad.
It was fast. It had no steering, and it said on the fucking description, "It's like, this is useless."
Yeah, like the last sentence of the description says, "This is a useless bike."
Yeah,
it's been so I called this bike down, and it has a little side cart in it. So the fencing, like, we were losing the match.
Oh yeah.
And the tires on this thing are described as being bald, so like the traction is really bad. So you climbed into the side cart, and I was driving, and you had a little minigun on the side cart. And I was driving, and I kept spinning around in circles because, like, the tire tread, like, there's no friction. Like, apparently, like, it's just like bald tires. But then the swarm of ants started chasing us, so I started like reversing, and I managed to keep it steady enough to reverse. And you were shooting on the Gatling gun at these ants that just kept coming, and we're like, oh my god! And then I literally ran into a tree. Like this, it was like what happens in horror films where you're getting away in a car, and somehow you still manage to like veer off the road and run into a tree. Like, it's ridiculous. I literally ran into a tree, and we bailed and tried to run away, but then we got eaten. So that shit sticks out in my mind as being like a really funny moment that only this game could deliver.
Yeah,
I feel like. The experimentation is high, like especially with the air raider. I find that to be most rewarding, but the air raider is the hardest one to play, which we'll get into, I think.
Yeah, that's right. But that's the thing. Once you experiment, you're gonna find that sweet spot, and those are usually the rotation of weapons. Like, it took me like 3/4 of the game to actually find the loadout that works like pretty much in every scenario for the fencer.
Right.
Like, honestly, like I was experimenting like crazy, and then once I discovered like I didn't research any of this. It was just a lucky break that I discovered that dash shoot combo.
Yeah.
Fucking game over at that point. Like, that was it. Like, the fencer's biggest problem was mobility, and that solved it in spades. So
did you ever use the shield?
I tried it.
I heard the shield is really good. Like, I was reading about the shield.
The shield's okay, but the problem is that you're still taking damage, and if you get swarmed, that shield's not going to do much for you. And I found it most useful in some levels if it's just like a big single or a few enemies, then it becomes useful. But if you're dealing, like, for instance, there was one of the levels with all of the airships, the tiny little airships, not the red ones, the less, I don't know, the weaker ones, but there's so many of them. doesn't matter if you've got the shield up and you're deflecting some of the things. There's just too many enemies to deal with.
Right.
Front, back,
Right.
everything. They have a very short range, or each one has a field of not vision, but like a field of effectiveness, I guess you can call it. Where outside of that, it's not going to do shit. So
yeah. I mean, on the higher difficulties, I just wanted to talk about the balance issues that I saw. And again, I think I'm just getting old, and I'm not as good at games as I used to be. But I like the idea of the aerator. I loved using the vehicles, but the vehicles and the mechs and stuff, they are slow, right? And you get swarmed, and your life on the vehicle just goes down completely, really quick, and you die very, very quickly. You need support, right? So the aerator, I always find taking on levels on my own as being something that they could have done a little bit better. Now, I'm sure if you look online, I might, like there are folks that have beat this whole game on like Inferno single player with the aerator, right? But it also depends on the kind of vehicles that you get and the kind of weapons that you get. I feel like also play a huge part in that. But there are levels where I'm like, I can't, like my skill level, I cannot beat this on hard by myself. Just can't do it. Sometimes I play really, really carefully, and I make sure that I get everyone, I get a posse together, like taking command of all the NPCs. But sometimes I just can't do it. Now, that being said, there are other levels where I'm like, you as well, you and I have both played levels where we're like, we actually can't beat this. This is just unfair. Like the level design is unfair. It will not work. We will not beat it. You get frustrated, but then you visit it again later, choosing a new weapon. You're like, oh, I'm going to try this gun, or just changing your loadout entirely, and suddenly we beat it. And that's happened most of the time, right? That's like most of the time it's happened that way. So the game's higher difficulty levels might initially seem unfair, but as long as you have the gear and the level, like the armor level, to at the level that's recommended for that stage, and I don't think they really have recommendations, but I think you can kind of get a feel of what you're going to need in order to beat the level. Just changing your strategy up wildly, like using different weapons, experiment, and you'll find something that works eventually.
Agreed.
I just feel like that doesn't apply to the aerator all the time. So
poor fella.
Yeah, poor little guy. Yeah, but yeah, so I think that's the only like real issue I've had with the game is some of the balancing issues.
The only balancing issue being really the aerator.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only one. The other ones I could sort of chalk up to just me not being as good as I should be. So, was there anything from your side, any negatives, like what you didn't enjoy about the game, gameplay-wise?
No, gameplay-wise, once you get into it and you really start kind of getting a feel for how the game is, and the fact that some of it is a bit of a grind, like for the for the fencer at some point too, when I started getting into him, there was a grind to get more health, because the fencer's basically just, he's right in the open and he can't really move very much. So that's definitely something you've got to, like, your fencer's got to be super high in armor. And then some of the grinding for weapons, like, some weapons just don't cut it at whatever level it is. It's not going to work. You just need to grind, try other levels, get new weapons, and go from there.
Yeah, there is a bit of a grind, but I've actually enjoyed it. To be honest,
up until a point, though. Up until a point.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you're frustrated. Like, fuck this game. I'm done.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've said that more than once.
Yeah.
But I always come back like a battered lover.
Yeah, no, man. I don't really have much else. I think that at the end of the day, this is just, if you really like third-person action games or shooting games or third-person whatever, just fucking destruction games, whatever you want to look at, classify this as, this is the game, man. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that other games do in terms of look and feel. Well, no, I'm going to say look. Feel it's got. And it's got great game mechanics. You can play with your friends. It's at a very reasonable price, or at least it was when it was on sale. I'm sure it's still reasonable now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this game, like, the amount of time I put into this game.
Yeah.
I think I put in like almost 80 hours.
Oh.
Which is like maybe 70 hours. That's a lot. I don't put that much time into a single game. And that's just a testament to how entertaining the game has been. It is deceptively simple. That's the thing. Like, you play this game, it doesn't seem like there's a lot to it when you first play it.
Right.
Giant insects, cheesy dialogue, things blowing up. It doesn't seem like a lot. You turn up the difficulty a little bit, things change.
A lot.
You get new weapons, things change. Then suddenly you play with other people, strategies become important. And the game scales up that way. It is deceptively simple. So I would say that anyone who's seen a video of this game or is watching this video and seeing some gameplay footage, it's really hard to explain how much we're actually talking during those sessions, and how much strategy is important, how much loadout is important, how much analysis you do after you've played a level, so you know what enemies there are, and you spend on the loadout screen choosing your gun. It just it's deceptively simple. So don't judge a book by its cover. Take a dive in, spend a couple of hours with it. I think it takes at least a couple of hours before you understand there's actually some hidden depth there.
Yeah.
So I would absolutely give it a try. And it's one of those games, another thing I would say is another one, it's one of those games you can jump in for 20 minutes and jump out.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
That's really important. That's really important, especially, for me. I think it's important for me to be able to do that because life, right?
Yeah.
So it's just easy to jump into a game, play for 20, 30, play a level, play another level, and jump out. And there's no narrative. Technically speaking, I think the game thinks there's a narrative, but there's really none to really speak of. So you go, it's level based. It's like a Nintendo the concept of levels. This is literally a stripped down concept of levels. It's like Super Mario Brothers, level 1, level 2, level 3. That's all this is. There's nothing stringing these things together. They're basically just scenarios, which is fine because you play a level for 20, 25 minutes. You complete it. You go off on your merry way. It's an easy game to jump in and jump out of. So
Correct.
It makes it super accessible.
Yep. Agreed. It's $30 right now. I think that's USD on the PlayStation Network. So
is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this isn't PlayStation exclusive, right? This is also, you said it's on 360?
No.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. I think the Shadow
Xbox
of New
One?
Despair.
I can't remember.
The Shadow of New Despair. I think this version of the game. I think it's a PS exclusive.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I don't know.
So having said that, these developers announced 2 new EDF games last year, which is crazy. And one of them is Earth Defense Force 5, which is out in Japan right now. And I've been watching some people YouTube videos of people playing it, and basically it just looks like an upgrade of this game. And I'm like, yes, please. I actually don't need a whole lot new in the game to be there's the all new enemy types. They've tweaked some of the character classes. So it looks great. Graphically, they've punched things up a little bit. Enemies will sort of fall apart. You'll see some particle effects and all of that stuff. Looks great. Give me more. Give me more content. I'm in. But the other one they announced was Earth Defense Force Iron Rain. And Iron Rain looks like a more Gears of War-y version of the game we're playing.
Oh shit!
It's a little more serious. The graphics are a little more realistic, and the explosions are a little more realistic, that kind of thing. I'm not sure what they're going for when it comes to that. I saw a demo, someone playing a demo at one of the a game show. I can't remember, maybe it was PAX or something, but. Yeah, look up the video, have a look at it. It's a weird thing. It's literally Earth Defense Force, but with a more serious tone and a little more realistic look.
Interesting.
And it looks kind of nice, but it looks kind of generic now, to be honest. It kind of delves into that sort of gray, generic science fiction shooter area, which I kind of like my Earth Defense Force zany and colorful and cliched and cheesy, So
yeah.
Anyway, so those are things to look forward to. There's no U.S. date or a North America date for Earth Defense Force 5 yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when it happens, I'll likely be picking it up. But until then, I'm just going to play this game until I run it into the ground.
Hell yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
This is good, man. Thank you for introducing me to this bad boy. This is definitely It's been on my list for a while, or it's been on my rotation of games that I play for a very long time. So
that's right. Yeah,
sick,
no,
man.
I'm happy it went over. It went over well. It's just making up for that "Don't Starve Together" thing.
Don't even
fiasco.
bring it up. Don't even bring it up.
That's a discussion for another show.
Oh God! All right. Well, we should probably wrap this bad boy up, man.
Yeah, man. Okay.
I just brought up the Earth Defense Force 5 thing, so I'll definitely be checking that out after this. But,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Welcome to Your Doom show. This has been Earth Defense Force 4.1.
Shadow of New Despair.
Thank you, because I didn't have that in front of me. This is Justin.
This is Otto.
And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And any other way you're actually listening to this. Quick salute. Goodbye.
That was the slowest one because I thought you were going to end the show and I was going to give the salute. You just kept talking.
Yeah,
like
I wanted to see how long you held this out. All right.
Chatty Cathy. All right.
Thanks again, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Peace.